Hello. Welcome to our wellness hour. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes before we get started, just to let others join. Okay, let's get started. So hello everybody. My name is Risha from ATTCH, and like our last wellness hour together, today's wellness topic will be adapted from mindfulness teacher and author Ollie Doyle's book, Mindfulness for Life. Here it is, a 6-week guide to inner peace. So this book includes 6 principles of mindfulness, but for today I wanted to talk to you about letting go of resistance and letting your emotions flow. If you find this talk today interesting and you'd like to learn more, I will share a link in the comments to a free audiobook narrated by Doyle himself. So I'd like to begin with an activity that is on page 86 of Doyle's book. It's a short exercise that you can always come back to in order to help you become more aware of your emotions and your behavioral patterns. So I'll invite you to find yourself a piece of paper and something to write with, and then we're going to take a moment to look inwards. And if you don't have a piece of paper or something to write with right now, your phone is fine. You know, making a little note on your laptop is fine as well. Whatever feels best for you. So I'll read the activity out loud, and then I'll share the instructions in the comments, so you don't have to worry about writing the sentences out quickly. So when you're ready, we'll take a pen and a piece of paper or your phone and complete these sentences without thinking about your response. Write quickly without filtering and see what comes out. So the first sentence is, I only blank because I don't want to feel blank. Put that in the comment. I only blank because I don't want to feel blank. Our next sentence is, if I could sit with blank, I would much rather blank. And finally, our last sentence is, when blank, I notice it as blank in my blank. So I'll send that over as well in the comments. I think it will be easier to read them for yourself. It'll make more sense as well when you see them in the comments, I think. Okay, so I'll give you about 30 more seconds to work with that. And we'll write these sentences for as many commonly occurring emotions as you can. And don't forget, you can always come back to this activity if you feel rushed. And so you can save these sentences for later as well. But I'm curious, what did you come up with? Did it surprise you? Did you expect your response? And what would you rather be doing when you feel certain sensations or emotions instead of your current coping mechanism? Maybe you wouldn't change anything and you already feel like you're doing your best, and that's great. If not, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to stop and notice how it feels to visualize your alternative behavior. And that alternative behavior could be journaling or taking a mindful walk, listening to your favorite music, or cuddling a pet. Whatever it is, just keep that in mind for the next time you feel that emotion arise and see how you feel afterwards. So, in response to the activity we just did, Doyle writes, "This simple exercise can help shed some light on your emotional life. After all, if you recognize that emotion when it arises as a sensation, not as a problem to be attacked, you can be the watcher or the observer of the emotion, the witness of that energy arising. When you are the witness, it matters less what the emotion is because you will feel at peace anyway. Your happiness is no longer tied to particular emotional experiences." And here we discover the freedom that comes when you know who you really are. There's no longer any need to run away from internal experience. Instead, we can use these feelings as fuel for mindfulness practice. So when you become the watcher or the observer of an emotion or thought, we are now separating ourselves from that emotion or thought. This is how we could remind ourselves that we are not our emotions or thoughts. They're just a part of us and they will always come and go. If you watched my first wellness hour from a couple of weeks ago, you might remember me talking about this. If you haven't already and are interested, I will share the link to my first video in the comments. So I also wanted to talk to you all about something that Doyle calls dropping all barriers on page 107. Here's an excerpt from this chapter. First, it is worth answering the question, what does it mean to drop things? When we think of dropping something, it usually implies an active effort. We have to get rid of or throw away or change whatever we are holding on to. But you won't need to actively try to eliminate or change anything. The normal way to drop something is to change old thoughts into new ones. But if we merely try to change our opinions, our beliefs, feelings, we are going to get lost in thinking. We will be back in the same old cycle of believing something needs to change and trying to fix it for the future. Meanwhile, we're missing out on this wonderful present moment. When I talk about dropping something, what I mean is replacing it, making a shift in attention. In other words, all you need to do is pick up something else. For example, to drop a thought and stop playing with it, shift your attention to the breath. You don't need to actively get rid of the thought. You can simply change your point of focus, shift your awareness. The way to drop something is by paying attention to and embracing something else. So, keeping this tip in mind, what are some other ways we can shift our attention? There are countless mindfulness activities that we can try, such as taking a few long, deep breaths and really focusing on the breath, and then taking a moment to notice how you feel in your body. We can also try grounding ourselves with the help of our senses. So, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. When you want to drop a thought, what would you like to do to change your point of focus and shift your awareness? So for our final activity today, I'm going to invite you to get comfortable. You might feel like you want to move a little, maybe change the way you were sitting, maybe have a stretch, just a little gentle stretch. Stand up if you feel like you've been sitting or laying down for a while, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Maybe even grab a blanket or sweater for extra warmth and comfort. And when you're ready, I'll invite you to either close your eyes or have a dull gaze towards the floor while I read you this next activity that Doyle titles Letting Emotions Flow. So we'll invite you to take a moment to scan your body now for any stuck emotions or any aches and pains. As you tune in to the inner experience of the body, allow the sensations of breath to anchor your attention in this instant. Bring a friendly attitude to those emotions or aches. Smile at them as you would a scared child in a shopping center, and let the breath flow. As you sit still, watch for any movement in those sensations. See if they're static or if they are vibrating, moving, or changing shape. Be attentive without forcing your opinion of what they should be doing onto these sensations. Allow them to be. Try and become that watcher or observer of thoughts and emotions, and know that they will move on when they are ready. Now I'll invite you to take a moment and notice how that felt in your body. Were there any shifts? What were they like? Now, before finishing up, I wanted to share one last excerpt from Doyle's book with you today. He says, "The flow of energy is essential to the health of any system. The flow of ideas, and discussion and banter makes for a healthy workplace. The flow of rivers and movement of air currents promotes health in an environment. And the flow of breath and the transition of water and food and the physical movement of the body lead to physical health. And so emotional health is no different. It relies on the free flow of emotional energy, without which you will become stagnant or repressed. That energy wants to move, and you may find yourself exploding as anger moves, crying as sadness moves, or fretting as waves of anxiety flow through your body. But with this simple skill of sitting and observing and allowing that flow, we can voluntarily open those floodgates a bit at a time and in time of our choosing. Make a commitment to honor what your body's experiencing this instant, and you will find that emotions begin to flow again. Once the flow begins, you may notice that energy spent repressing is now free, and that the energy that was repressed is also free. Now, this leaves you free to use the energy as you choose and to enjoy the ebb and flow of emotion, fearless and connected to this instant. Now, I love this excerpt because this is something we strongly encourage and support here at ATTACH. The body is incredible and it knows exactly what you need depending on the circumstance. Some of us have learned that crying is not okay, but it is a natural reaction to sadness or frustration. Tears are just a form of energy that is being released from your body in order to make room for clarity. When we start thinking about the flow of emotional energy, we become present and allow ourselves to exist as we are without feeling the need to change. Now, I'll invite you to take a few deep belly breaths with me. If you would like a grounding exercise before we go, we're going to inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 4 counts. And we'll try that 3 times. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's try it one more time. Inhale, exhale. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room. Take a moment to pause and notice how you feel. If you've enjoyed this wellness hour, I'll invite you to like or share this video with others. You can even save it to access it later. Please feel free to share your noticings with us in the comments if you're comfortable. We would love to hear from you. So thank you for joining me today. I wish you a gentle rest of your day and a beautiful weekend.